3-2. There it is! The Washington Nationals are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
It wasn't long ago, the Nationals defied all odds and won it all. They were below 500 by 12 games in May of 2019. This team didn't look ready, and in fact they weren't ready. But with time, they just let things play out and everything worked in their favor. They were losing at some point in every single one of their elimination games during the playoffs. Yet in the end, they won it all. Adversity is exactly what this team went through all season long. After winning the World Series, it even became apparent that they had a top core in baseball, a team that they could go ahead and build off of for many years. Steven Strasburg was the anchor of the rotation, winning the World Series MVP that year and solidifying himself as a top arm. They also had top pitchers around him. I mean, look around, Mad Max Scherzer or even Patrick Corbin. All of these pitchers played a vital role in their World Series run. Offensively, they had Anthony Rendon, who had of course won the Silver Slugger award that year. Young superstar Juan Soto, yeah, he was only getting better and he was perceived as a top player in MLB. Trey Turner was also doing really good, putting up a high batting average every year, stealing a lot of bases. So you ask yourself, they have all of that, and how did they fall off? Well, it started with Anthony Rendon. He put up all-time high numbers in 2019 just for him to hit free agency 1 year later. They were never able to replace his production. 2020 was doomed for the Nationals no matter how you looked at it, because it was just inconvenience after inconvenience for that team. It felt like the entire team was actually just regressing, and especially the pitching staff more than anyone. They were viewed as dominant in 2019, but 2020 was a mess. Steven Strasburg, you know, the World Series MVP? Yeah, he only pitched in 2 games that year. He battled injuries throughout the season, and his season was effectively ended during that year. Then you look at Patrick Corbin, the man who was so good in 2019. Well, he fell off a cliff in 2020, pitching a .466 ERA. This rotation only really had Max Scherzer, and outside of Scherzer, yeah, it was really bad. So, combining the regression with the rotation and the offense not having Anthony Rendon, they went 26-34, 4th in their division as well. This was only the beginning of what became a massive falloff, because 2021 was worse, and I mean much worse. Trey Turner and Max Scherzer were nearing the final years of their contract. The Nationals were in a rebuild, uncompetitive as ever, and they decided to completely gut the team. Trey Turner and Max Scherzer were each sent to the LA Dodgers at the 2021 trade deadline. So by this point, they lost a superstar shortstop with Trey Turner, they lost Max Scherzer, and Anthony Rendon. I mean, things were at rock bottom. Remember how I said Strasburg was also dealing with injuries? Well, yeah, he was. He pitched in 5 starts in 2021, and then did not touch the mound the rest of the year. Patrick Corbin, yeah, he was also still under contract and was still only getting worse, performing as bad as ever with a .582 ERA. The Nationals finished 2021 65-97. The team was regressing as a whole, but things were about to escalate to a new type of bad. Juan Soto, the franchise player of the Nationals, was undergoing extension talks. Washington wanted him bad. They offered him a massive 15-year contract worth $440 million. All they wanted was for him to return. Juan Soto declined the offer, so at the 2022 trade deadline, they decided to move on from Juan Soto. Regardless of him even being under contract for 2023 and 2024, they felt it was time to move on early. So that's what they did. They traded him to the Padres. They attempted to keep him with that big contract, but he just didn't want to be a National. So it's that plain and simple. They lost 107 games in 2022 and 91 games in 2023. That's how the team fell. Everyone was traded, guys regressed, and other guys had injuries. It has been a mess in Washington. Steven Strasburg actually recently retired back in August, and Patrick Corbin pitched a 5 ERA in 2023. So you clearly see that there's a new era coming. No more Turner, Soto, Strasburg, Corbin, Rendon, and Scherzer. Again, new era, and I'm here to tell you that this one is going to be really, really good. As you can imagine, they got many prospects in return for the players that they traded. In fact, the Juan Soto trade practically built their entire future. Starting with CJ Abrams, a shortstop from the Padres. Now, Abrams was once a top prospect in MLB. He hasn't been great at the MLB level, but he definitely possesses the traits to be a good player. He can steal bases, he's also improving on defense, he's really fast, and his bat is only improving. His stats for the season were, I guess, okay, but after July is really when he started to pick things back up, hitting for a .275 average in the second half, plus his power started to get better. If he can break out in 2024, the Nationals are going to be much better off. In the Soto trade, they also got McKenzie Gore. Gore pitched a lot for the Nationals last year, constantly going deep into games, putting up okay numbers, I guess. He statistically has some of the best swing and miss pitches in baseball. But he has wrinkles that he needs to clear up, from overusing his fastball to having command issues. These are all things that he can fix and work on in 2024, and if he does, he could be one of the best lefties in baseball. They also got James Wood in this trade. Wood is a young outfielder filled with potential. And when I say watch out for a player in 2024, I mean truly, watch out for James Wood. First of all, he is 6'6" at 240 pounds. He's only 21 years old to make it even better. Obviously, with that type of height, he is an awesome power hitter, hitting 26 home runs and 473 at-bats. Only AA, but, still such an elite young hitter at only 21. He's expected to be called up at some point throughout 2024, probably towards the middle half of the year. So overall, it sucks. You lost Juan Soto, but you also got a lot of talent in return, and now you might even have a very good future. But it wasn't just that trade that, of course, got them to where they are today. They made a huge draft pick in 2023, selecting Dylan Cruz with the number 2 overall pick. The 21-year-old outfielder is labeled as a generational hitter. His days at LSU were insane, and they showcased just that. Then, of course, he got into the minors last year, and he put up really good numbers. Short sample size at only 137 at-bats, but overall, these were his numbers last year. That was in low A, high A, and double A, so not a whole ton, but he is on track to be called up next year. So let's see, you have James Wood and Dylan Cruz in the same outfield next year. On the infield, you will hopefully have Abrams break out at shortstop, and then in the pitching staff, McKenzie Gore has a lot of talent as a lefty. As far as I'm concerned, the Nationals are a core to watch out for. I see a lot of people saying how they're going to be one of the worst teams next year. Yeah, they might not be a playoff team, but I certainly do not think that they're going to be very bad. They're going to be showcasing their entire future. What do you guys think? It may have taken disassembling an entire World Series team, but the Nationals are finally back. I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already, and peace out.